Hey, it's Jay. I wanted to extend a special thanks to those of you who have listened and left reviews on iTunes for this podcast. Please leave a review if you haven't done so already. We sincerely appreciate it. We're producing this show independently, and unfortunately, that is not free. We have to pay for digital hosting space, software, equipment, websites, and travel out of our own pockets. But we'd love to keep this show going as long as possible. Please show your support for this podcast and give it life by making a donation to www.bigbuckregistry.com/donate or pledge your support by visiting www.bigbuckregistry.com/pledge. You can also find our app in our Apple App Store called Big Buck Deer Hunter 2015 and in the Google Play Store for Google and Android devices. Thanks for your support and enjoy the show. Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Deer Hunting Podcast, episode number 112. Girls with Guns, Jen O'Hara and NORISSA HARMAN, also of Universal Huntress TV. Big Buck Registry is a virtual museum of hunting stories. We preserve a piece of Americana by interviewing and recording hunters about their hunts and experiences from across the country. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two along the way that'll help us take our hunt to the next level.
This is Jana Waller from Skullbound TV, and you're listening to my favorite podcast, the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast.
Hey, this is Melissa Bachman of Winchester Deadly Passion on the Sportsman's Channel. You're listening to my favorite deer hunting podcast, Big Buck Registry's Deer Hunting Podcast.
Hey, this is Tim Salerno with Salerno Brothers. Hi, this is Randy Salerno with Salerno Brothers. Get ready to listen to another great episode of the Big Buck Registry's Deer Hunting Podcast.
Welcome to the show. This is Jay Scott, your host of the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Deer Hunting Podcast. I'm also joined by Dusty Phillips, my good friend from Ohio. Dusty, what's chilling, man?
Yo, 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 what's happening, everybody? It's just, man, the weather here is getting into conditions that I like to see, Jay. Waking up to 60-degree mornings, big heavy dew on, about 80 degrees during the day. It's starting to look like fall, and really it's not quite fall yet, but it's looking like it here.
Right. It's starting to feel like it here as well. We're starting to see some temperature changes. It's getting very humid during the day, which I hate, by the way. But it's starting to cool down at night, and it's got that stillness in the air that you often see in September with not a lot of windy. It's kind of like this very quiet, calm before the storm kind of thing. It reminds me of early bow season in New Hampshire. So that's, it's coming. It's right here. We're less.
It's just a matter of time from here on.
I know.
If you're jonesing, your fix is coming soon.
Absolutely.
Real soon.
Yep. Hey, I just want to let you know I've been doing some field testing with the Patriot camera from USA Trail Cams.
No kidding. How's it going?
It's going good. I did a little video shoot of me opening the box and showing what's in the box, showed the camera, and it's some interesting features about it, one of which is that it comes with a remote control, and you get to use that remote control when you're trying to set up your shot so you can see what it's focusing on and that kind of thing. It doesn't show you the pictures, but at least you can program everything just with the handy little remote that they give you in the box. And I had never seen that before. And the other thing that I have not had yet, and I think you've had this, but I have not, is I actually can capture sound now. And it's kind of interesting. And I decided to set it up on my son's backyard wiffle ball field that we have, because I figured I'd test it out by seeing what it could pick up. And I actually have some footage that I'm going to be sharing here pretty soon about a wiffle ball game that we played yesterday.
Very nice.
And I was amazed at what it picked up, the sound specifically. And it's picking up some stuff in the middle of the night, for example, and all I can hear is the peepers and the crickets, and it's just that outdoor sound that I've never been able to capture that before. It's fascinating.
Yeah, you can't really buy that sound.
You can't buy that sound. That's created in one auditorium only.
Very cool.
It is very cool. So I'll be playing some of that stuff here on the Big Buck Registry Facebook page and social media, so you can see what it's all about. So that's kind of cool. Hey, I wanted to check in on our buck naming project here for Wayland and Langford. And I sent you the video and I want to see if you would be up for naming that buck and then calling Wayland to give him the news.
Yeah, it wasn't no great easy task, but Jay, I can name a buck.
Yes, you can. You're very good at it. So what do you think?
I'm calling that buck the goalpost buck.
Goalpost buck it is. All right, let's get Wayland on the phone.
Yeah, let's call him up. That buck, man, it's amazing. It's got really flat main beams and uprights, just like a goalpost. All either direction, front or from the rear, the G2s, 3s, and 4s all kind of line up. And that buck's got really flat main beams coming out of the skull, and it looks like a goalpost.
Goalpost.
It hit me as soon as I seen it, Jay. We hope Wayland likes football.
Right.
Let's call Wayland.
Let's get Wayland.
Hello.
Hey, Wayland.
Yes.
It's Jay from the Big Buck Registry. How are you?
Hi, Jay. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. What's going on?
Oh, not a lot. We're actually driving to pick up some moving trucks like I told you about.
Nice. I have the infamous Dusty Phillips on the other line with me.
How you doing, Wayland?
Hey, Dusty. Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Man, I'm excited to hear from y'all, I tell you.
We're excited to talk to you.
I love the show, and I've downloaded every episode on my phone. And
awesome.
My wife gets mad at me because I have my earplugs in all the time, and I don't listen to her.
That's what we like to hear.
Sometimes I put my earphones in my ears too, and nothing's playing. You know, that way it's just the way it is.
Now, don't do that.
Well, it's not all the time, but sometimes you just got to shut down for a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Wayland, I was able to send the video to Dusty, and he has digested the mount, which is a phenomenal mount. Best mount I've ever seen.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you.
There's a whole lot going on there, Wayland, and it took me a little bit of studying and checking it out. But you know, and I think that you scored a great touchdown with that goalpost buck. Oh,
I tell you, I'm very blessed with that. It's meant the world to me, I tell you.
Absolutely.
That's a once in a lifetime buck for me, and I know that, and I just thank our Lord every day that He allowed me to take such an animal. You know.
Absolutely. I come up with the name of goalpost.
Goalpost buck. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Nice.
Anyway, that buck turns, man, when it's got them flat main beams coming out.
Yes.
G2 on every angle, front and back. His G2s and 3s, they all kind of line up, and they look like a goalpost on top of his head.
Excellent. Yeah.
So that's why I said
I like it.
You scored a touchdown with the goalpost buck.
I love it. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I'm sticking with. Goalpost buck. Because, man, any way you look at that buck, it looks like it's got a goalpost on top of its head.
Okay. I can't wait to tell my father that. He's been calling me every day. Well, what'd they come up with?
Nice.
That's good.
Cool.
And Dusty, I'll be sending in that $59.99 naming fee.
That'd be perfect.
Excellent.
Hey, man, that's a great pedestal mount. I seen that buck when you first submitted it. Been a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, seeing it on the turning pedestal, like real deal, holy cow.
Yeah.
What is score?
204 and 5/8.
Nice. Very nice. You scored a touchdown there.
I did, yeah. And you know, I knew it was special, and I knew I was going to be showing it off. And when I mounted it, I took a few weeks just to come up with something, you know, what can I do that was unique, you know? And I have seen... I saw a bobcat mounted that was spinning around and around like that, and I thought, you know, that'd be excellent. That way, it will show off every angle of the antlers, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and it was a job to come up with that. That wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but we finally got it done, and I love it.
That's so cool. Well, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you're busy right now moving some stuff, but I figured we had to reach out to you.
Man, I appreciate it, and I'm just so excited to be able to talk to y'all. Y'all are celebrities, and here I am getting to talk to you.
I don't know about that, but I think that's cool. You got a nice buck there, and I appreciate that you appreciate the show we put on. I do. Means a lot to us.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all, and keep up the good work, because I tell you, I've learned so much just from listening to your show. You know, and I've hunted my whole life, and I'm learning I learn something just about every time I listen to you.
That's what it's all about.
Awesome.
That's it. And I do too.
Yes, sir.
That's why we're doing it for us and
That's
for
why we're
everybody
here.
else.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate what y'all are doing.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you go, but thanks again. Good luck with your move, and stay in touch.
Okay. Thank y'all, guys.
All right. Take care, Wayland.
Appreciate it.
Nice
All right,
buck.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, good luck, Wayland. Hopefully that was pretty good. And if you want to have your buck named for $59.99, you can also send in a picture of your buck, and Dusty will name it for you here on the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Deer Hunting Podcast.
Absolutely.
We have a very special 2 guests this week, Dusty.
Really?
Yes. Have you ever heard of the name brand Girls with Guns Apparel?
Absolutely.
They're in many large
They're everywhere.
hunting and fishing stores, any of the large distributors.
They just showed up out of nowhere.
Yes. And you've probably seen their logo, various items, clothing, gadgets, anything that has to do with fashionable camo wear. You've probably seen that logo before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a logo that's, starting to come around, and you're seeing it more and more often.
Yes. So we thought it would be a good idea to explore this logo. And, some of these ideas you get from walking around the store. You're like, well, who is this? What is this? There must be a story behind this brand and logo. And we were able to get the gals from Girls with Guns to join us on the show, Jen O'Hara and NORISSA HARMAN. And they've also gone the extra step and created a television show called Universal Huntress TV to promote the brand. So that's kind of an interesting story. But first and foremost, the story of how they got to being an apparel company is kind of interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of them things where it's like, wow, they really came from there, and they're where they are today.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're hunters, first and foremost. That's a prerequisite for being on the show. They're deer hunters. But they've also done some overseas hunting in Africa. They're coming back to do more shooting this year in the States. And the fashion piece is kind of it's fascinating to me because it's another great American story about having a vision, an idea, and being able to grow that vision and be successful with growing pains, obviously. But then now they're starting to get a good footprint out there in the whole hunting world, and they're making a run at it. And they've got a lot of followers on Facebook. Their brand is going kind of viral, and this is their story.
Let's get them on the phone, Jay.
All right, let's do it. Jen and NORISSA, welcome to the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Deer Hunting Podcast. What's happening?
Hey!
I like
Thanks
the
for
opening.
having us.
We're psyched to have you. So, it's you got referred over from our friend Michelle, and we hear you're doing some hardcore stuff with outdoor clothing, and that you're doing some TV shows and hunting hard. So that's our favorite kind of person to talk to.
Cool. Absolutely.
Well, this is NORISSA, and I'm just super excited to do a podcast. As we were talking earlier, this has been kind of on my bucket list. So we're doing that.
Awesome. I think it's great. I mean, it's, obviously we love podcasting, but podcasting, I think you might want to consider that down the road. We need some more lady hunting podcasters out there. We don't have a lot of them.
I'm going to come and join you guys.
Okay. Join the Big Buck team. What do you think, Dusty?
There we go.
Yes.
Absolutely. Maybe we can do like a guest host at times.
Go.
Definitely.
Deal. I'm in.
We do have the technology to have multiple people on the line, so this could be good. This could give a whole different perspective, especially, I'm from the East Coast. You're out in the West Coast. Dusty's in the middle. We could cover it all.
We could do this. I just signed Jen up, and she's giving me the evil eye right now. Like, what did you put?
We need one more thing to
Right.
do.
You need one more thing to do in your life, I'm sure.
Clothing line, TV show, running all over the country. Let's do podcasts too.
Absolutely.
If Steve Ranella can do it, then you can. There's no question about it.
That's true.
Heck yeah. Hey, we could be like in some random hotel and talking about random hotel creepers.
Yeah, he just carries his mic with him, puts it down in the middle of the tent wherever he is, and they start talking, and that's it. That's his show.
That's cool.
And that works.
Some of your best stories come when you're at hunt camp. Some of those best times and memories, and it could be something fun to record. We may have to try it. We'll try it like when we're in Africa next time.
Okay.
That would we'll have Big Buck Registry hook us up.
Definitely. Oh yeah. We'll definitely, do the segment. We'll throw it on the show and then we'll discuss it after. Like, what was that all about?
Edit out.
Cool to talk with you while you're in Africa, though. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be cool. So where are you from? I mean, you said you're in California, but are you from there originally?
Well, NORISSA, I'm actually here in Red Bluff. We grew up in Nevada, and my dad packed us on over here to Red Bluff, California, and have been here since I was 12.
Since you're 12,
I was actually California born and raised in a small town with 400 people in the real rural California, Aden. And it was actually born on a ranch, grew up hunting, fishing, ranching. It was our whole life. So really just, I guess, California at heart.
Yep.
No kidding. I just put my brother-in-law on a plane back that way. He's just flew back to L.A. actually.
Oh, well, we're not LA. So
good.
A lot of people get us confused with LA. And people can't believe that Jen and I are from California. But where we're at, we're from the real Northern California. We're closer to the Oregon coast. So we're kind of on that border, the Oregon border. And it's beautiful. Yeah, right. It's beautiful here. We have lakes and rivers, and
we're actually in the valley of Northern California, and we're in one of the biggest agricultural areas. And so many people don't realize how much amazing hunting and outdoors that we have here. And it's something that's definitely getting on the map, because whether we're at SHOT Show, SCI, or even in Africa, we've met people, hunters all over, that will just say, wow, you're from California and you hunt and you're women. And, they're really surprised at it, but it's actually huge up here. I mean, we're probably the majority in California is this northern part.
Okay. That makes more sense to me. So Northern California is really, it's not Southern California by any means. So now I'm starting to understand that it's more Oregon kind of country.
Yes.
So tell me about the landscape. And what are we talking about? Are we talking about mountainous ranges? Are we talking about woodlands, dry areas? What are we looking at?
What's awesome about California is there's everything. So we have the redwoods on the coast. Then you have your ocean. We're down here in the valley where it's hotter than Hades. It's like 117 in July, and we stay in the air conditioning until the evenings. And then you have like Lake Tahoe, you have Lake Shasta. Then you go up to where I grew up in the mountains, which is only about an hour from the Oregon border. And you have mountains and forests. And California is probably one of the most diverse landscapes and one of the most beautiful places to live.
Okay. Well, if I'm thinking deer hunting, what species am I thinking about?
Well, right where we're at, you have mule deer and blacktail. So where we're at, specifically in Red Bluff, it's blacktail, but you go just a few hours to where I grew up and it's all mule deer. Okay. Interesting. All right. I want you to take us on a deer hunt in a little bit, but right now let's talk about some of the things you have going on. So you're getting known for this apparel, this line of apparel that you've developed. Now, where does that come from?
Well, it's kind of funny how this all came about. And, Girls with Guns has really become this trend and this lifestyle. And it's kind of funny because the other day, one of our girls had said she's been hashtagging GWG life on Instagram. Okay. And it's just really a culture. So for Jen and I, it started, in 2009. And, for me, I didn't really get to grow up hunting. My dad had fished. And so we did grow up in the outdoors, but we just didn't hunt a lot. And when I started dating my husband, Brian, he was an avid hunter. And so for me, the only time to really connect with him and to spend any quality time was to kind of tag along. And so that's just really where it's really started. And, it started in my garage.
NORISSA basically had an idea, a name, Girls with Guns. And to tell you the truth, a lot of people actually laughed when we told him the name. And I was in the biggest part of my career in real estate, doing very well for somebody who came from a little small town. And we were best friends and we did everything together. We wakeboarded together. We fished together. We had just gotten into hunting together. And she was like, hey, I got this idea. I was a business mind. And she goes, what do you think about this? And I said, all right, well, I said, I've got a little bit of money tucked away, and both of us really came from very simple upbringings. We didn't have a whole lot growing up, and had both worked since we were kids. And so we knew what it would take to start a business. And owning a business of my own at the time, I said, oh, you know what? I'll give you a year. I'll get you started. This is, something that I can do. I can run a business. I've done it since I was 20 years old. And then she sucked me in, basically. I literally went in, and we have not separated since.
Yeah, we started in my house, in my garage. I had an embroidery machine that I bought in 2001, I think it was, or 2002.
Okay.
And so I started doing my own embroidery for businesses, companies. I started embroidering towels and just trinket stuff. So I always had like the access to t-shirts and hats and apparel. And
let's be honest, she's a super fashion diva.
All right.
Super fashion diva, and I'm like the little redneck.
So I kind of already had access to that. And, it was really cool because Jen and I would, just sit in my office at my house. And when I actually talking to you guys right now, it kind of gives me chills to really think about how far back that was, but it really wasn't that far back. And, we just dreamed, and we always were like, what if, and, what if so-and-so wore this in People magazine? And we would work till probably 2:00 in the morning. We embroidered our hats, and we screen printed and heat transferred rhinestones on the silliest things. And we would hit up trade shows that I didn't even think that we were going to make $1,000 at. It was just, we were just there 7 days a week. We would work our day jobs all day, come and work all night till 2:00 and 3:00 in the morning, get to work and do it all over again. And it just, when you love something so much and you're just believe and you're so passionate about it, it doesn't really feel like work.
Yeah. And, one of the things is that we really balanced each other really well. And you could have never known that. You can have your husband, your best friend, or just a business partner, and you never know if you're going to have a connection with them. And NORISSA and I both have individual talents, and we've really helped each other grow and flourish those. And from starting with literally $2,500,
yeah.
a garage and an embroidery machine. And now we are so proud to be in Cabela's, Shields, Sportsman's Warehouse, all of these chains that love our brand. And we've gone internationally too. We're now in just started in South Africa and Canada. And it's so exciting for us. And, we get to live our dream every day, and it's not work because we love it so much.
That's cool. What's the premise of the Girls with Guns? Is there a certain style that you can describe, or is it you said it was a lifestyle, but is there, if I were to see something, would I know it was yours?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Jen and I, we kind of trying to, when we were coming up with taglines, what is our brand? And GWG has been really based around Jen and I's lifestyle. And our lifestyle is a trendy West Coast vibe. We're the everyday outdoor lifestyle apparel. We hunt, we fish, we shoot, we wakeboard, we snowboard, we go hiking. We do everything out here in the West Coast. And I would say that's what GWG is really based on.
I was in a meeting at one of the big box chains last month, and one of the buyers came in, and we're going back and forth, and we're talking sales meeting. And he goes, man, you guys really have a West Coast vibe. And I said, where are you from? And he was from Arizona. And he said, where are you from? I said, we're from California. Couldn't believe we were from California. Number one, because just like we talked about with you guys, not a lot of people realize how much hunters and outdoors women and men are in California, but people recognize that. And what we're doing to the outdoor industries, we're bringing fashion to the outdoor world, because before it was always men's big boxy t-shirts with a big screen printed pink logo, and that's the only option you had. Now we've gone from embroidering and screen printing t-shirts that were blanks that we purchased from, other companies to each and every piece is unique. We have basic t-shirts that you can wear all the way up to fashion pieces, even shirts that you can wear that have stags and on them, that, as we call it, our New Zealand shirt, that's like a chiffon, kind of a see-through, really cute top that you can wear outdoors to a nice dinner.
Okay, gotcha. I'm starting to get the picture. So do you design your own clothing as well as the logos and how it looks, or are you taking a basic cut of something and just making it look awesome?
Yeah, no, we design everything. We build everything from the ground up.
Wow.
And it's really evolved. We've basically taught ourselves, and now we have a great team that's involved with us and helping us make this, dream come alive. So yeah, we're developing every day. That's what we do.
Our basic slogan for the last 7 years has been "Fake it till you make it." Because that's what we did. I'm telling you, this girl couldn't even get me to go shopping with her. I'm like, I'll order something online.
You gotta say that again. You fake it till you make it.
Till you make it. That has been our slogan for 7 years, because neither one of us went to college. We both are very, very different in our likes. NORISSA's very fashiony, and I could wear jeans, cowboy boots, and a t-shirt every day. I'm a little more of the tomboy. And so we've just really intertwined our likes. And NORISSA does a lot of trending and forecasting and looking at colors, and I don't really care about that kind of stuff.
So you know what I call that? The school of hard knocks.
Right.
West Coast style.
Right. Sounds almost gangster.
It is gangster. Well, that's kind of me. I'm a thug redneck.
You're
so
a thug redneck. I love it.
In fact,
we call them hunt necks.
Dusty has coined the term hunt neck. So what challenges have you faced so far? It sounds like a real fun, glorious rise, but there must have been some challenges along the way.
There was challenges every single day.
I think there's a challenge every day, and it's not always glorious. Lots of tears. We call it blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of times sacrificed. We missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of family events, friend events.
I think I lost a few friends along the way. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
I mean, people just didn't understand. I was single, and I just remember, trying to date, and people are like, wait, what do you do at night? Like, why can't you come hang out with me? And, I don't understand. Because this is my passion. This is what I love. The personal challenges were there. For the business, NORISSA and I remember when we had first really focused on our first chain, and that was Shields. And do you guys know about Shields? Big old Ferris wheel. Oh gosh, you got to go in one. So they have a big old Ferris wheel in the middle of this Reno Shields. NORISSA and I are at a trade show. We've been in business for 4 months. Okay. My brother is our labor. He comes over because he lives in Reno, and he's a contractor.
This is a family affair. Everybody came in tagged hats, busted their butt moving boxes. And
he would show up and help us at every Reno event, because that's where the gun shows are. So he goes, have you guys heard of Shields? No, because we don't have one in California. And he tells me about the Ferris wheel. That was the most exciting part, all the guns, everything. And he goes, we got it. We got to drop off a package. So NORISSA and I hand wrote a note, and neither one of us have good handwriting. We got all of these screen printed and these hand pressed items, and we put them together in a bag, stapled the note, rush over there, and it's closed. So my brother hand delivers it. I call these guys for 3 months every week. Sales was my gig. That's what I did. Finally, the buyer calls me back. They're ready. But when they're ready to move forward, like in all the stores. And you're talking about us sitting on the floor, hand pressing items ourselves. So the first struggle was we thought we needed to get a loan, because there's no way. We don't have any money. We started with $2,500 right. And we went to get a loan, and they turned us down because, you have to have stuff in order to get a loan, apparently, not just your blood, sweat, and tears in this big dream. Well, I think that person who didn't give us the loan probably is regretting it, I hope, to this day. And Narissa and I actually found a good friend that lent us a small amount of money, and we've grown the company, based on just basically our hard work. We haven't taken anything out. We give back. We're here working every single day, except for last year we did get to hunt a lot, I will admit, but that was part of a job too, producing the TV show. And it's been a constant evolution. And one of the other problems is honestly keeping up. It's grown so quickly that to keep up with the demand, honestly, physically, financially, mentally, all of it has probably been our biggest struggle. But we're there for each other every single day, every single obstacle. And Narissa's a worrier, and I'm not. And so we really balance each other in that. So if I worry, then everybody should probably worry. And that's kind of our thing.
If one's up, the other one's down.
Yeah.
The other one's down, one's up. So it's kind of a good balance.
God put us together for a reason.
Excellent. So you go to these outdoor shows, I assume, to spread the brand. And what kind of a response do you get?
It's crazy.
We were selling out. I think our first trade show was 99-cent t-shirts.
Oh my gosh, they were
so gross.
They just wanted it because it said "girls with guns," and
we sold out.
Yeah.
We sold out. I think our first show we made $4,000, and we thought we were rich.
And it all went back into the company, right?
Back.
Right.
We literally worked our day jobs for up until Narissa quit her job 3 years ago, and I quit mine, which I owned my own business. And I quit it 2 years ago this month.
Whoa.
Yeah,
really?
2 years ago in August. And it was the hardest thing I ever did because I'd built that up on my own. But I was a real estate agent, and this is my passion. This is what I love, and this is where I want to be.
Fascinating. Were you scared?
I was. I'm very, very blessed to have an amazing, at the time he wasn't my husband, but we were engaged. And he's supported me to be able to, do this at a very, very small fraction of the income that I used to make, because Narissa and I, we don't take a lot from the company. We take enough to get by because we believe that as we continue to push this and put back in, that it's just going to continue to grow. And I think that's the American dream, and that's what everybody wants. But the sacrifices that you have to make aren't always easy.
Right.
And we've done that. And we now, mine and his husband, they've been by our sides.
Yeah. I think that's any entrepreneur, business owner knows what you put into it is what you get back. And, it's hard. It's unless you're a business owner, you know what you've got to do daily, and you kind of think everybody should run like you.
Super guilty.
So we're really learning how to try to balance life, and
that's our goal this year. Actually,
we're trying to balance health, life, fitness, and try to get back to being normal, because we haven't been normal.
Yeah. It was 6 years of chaos.
Now I'm what I would describe as a fashion idiot. So help me understand what the fashions are of today.
Gosh, we're really looking at hippie trends right now. So we're really going back. We did it was funny because I was watching the trends for the years, and you go back and you have Birkenstocks. Remember, Birkenstocks right now are so popular. And fringes came back. So we really nailed that with our fringe shirt that we have.
I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah, on our website. And just like the hippie bohemian look is
when
coming.
When she says hippie, she doesn't mean the hippie like you're talking about, because I'm scowling at that one. I don't do hippie.
Fashion's just so evolving, and we want to be right there, but we want to do it with our country twist. And like Jen and I said, she's got her cowboy boots and her fringe GWG shirt on, and I've got my skinny jeans and my American flag GWG shirt on. So it's really basically what we've liked, and flags and guns and now we're getting to a point where Narissa and I, for so many years, it was what we liked. Well, now we have a big enough customer base that we can go back and go, okay, this is what the customer liked. And then we bring those things in and we go, okay, this is what our customer likes. Now, how do we twist that into something new and fresh? And like, if you guys have ever seen our website, we have a fur hoodie. That fur hoodie has been around for 5 years,
and we've changed it up and made it more fabulous each and every year. This year, we're bringing in a blades pattern. Super love duck hunting in that pattern, and that was one of our new fresh fashions. And you just bring in something new, a new twist on whatever is trending right now, colors and
so we use lots of mossy oak.
Yes, all mossy oak.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, growing up, there was like no fashion around the group of people that I hunted with. It was, your hand-me-down fatigues from your grandfather, if you could find some, and, whatever you could find, that's what you wore. But there was no fashion line whatsoever that you followed. But I'm looking at your website. I'm like, I understand it. I get it. That there actually is a fashion thing going on in the outdoor world between mossy oak and real tree, and a whole design of clothing that you have to design for the everyday hunter. I mean, you can look good in the woods, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing about our brand. So we started a little bit backwards. Everyone else starts with your traditional hunting camo and what you wear in the field. NORISSA and I started with the fashion world. It's the after the hunt. It's the girl who, even if they aren't a hunter, it's the girl who is a gun-toting mama and wants to wear it on her chest proudly to show. And she doesn't want an NRA shirt. She wants something cute and trendy. Nothing against the NRA. I'm a life member. But she wants something cute and trendy that she would go and buy at the Buckle, but she can buy it from an outdoor company. Then we went into the hunting world because NORISSA and I started hunting on camera, I would say 3 years ago, and we realized that we were wearing other people's brands, and we were not okay with that. We were like, wait a minute, why are we on camera wearing someone else's stuff? That is literally, we're like, okay, now it's time to go into a whole new world where we don't know a lot about the technical part, so we had to learn. And this time, instead of fake it till you make it, we got a team out of Kansas, and they're amazing, and they work with us, and we bring in our GWG flair, making sure that it isn't your men's clothing. It is designed for women, by women, and it fits women. And that's the best thing, because honestly, when I'm in the field, I don't want to be wearing something that's not fitting correctly. And so we make sure that it's fashionable also. When I say fashionable, a lot of women will go, psh, oh, they're not serious hunters. Well, they're full of crap, because there's nothing wrong with looking good. And, that's the whole goal, is we all want to as women. And so we wear something that, looks nice on us and that fits well. And it also is technical, and it works, and it serves a purpose.
That's excellent. Dusty, I'd like to get your take on this. Dusty, what are you thinking about this? You're awful quiet over there.
Yeah, Dusty, let's hear you.
I'm just soaking it all in. It's a great thing that you got going, and it's amazing that you guys are able to take the outdoors and turn it into a fashion. That's what's unique about it.
Oh, well, thanks, Dusty. Thought you were a little quiet over there. Soaking, we were educating you.
Yeah, he's like, these are all
you were. I was just taking it all in. It's one of them things where I can really feel your passion about what you're doing, and that makes a business right there.
Yeah.
We're
just nutty, passionate business owners.
That's what it takes, though. You got to put your life into it, and your time, and everything around you doesn't matter, because that's what you're working on.
Yeah, that happened.
It's just like podcasting. I mean, I like to eat, and I miss dinners to come podcast.
Poor guy.
So, I'm missing dinner too right now, so we're in the same boat. It's okay.
Yeah, it's just something that you get to loving something, and you really enjoy what you're doing, and you'll do anything to go do it.
So where have you been featured so far? Like, what are some places that have picked up your story?
The story?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. California Sportsman Magazine. There's some, I can't remember.
That's okay. No problem.
I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been really blessed along the way to get, quite a few people picking it up. But, NORISSA and I, we're always nose to the grindstone. So we don't go out there like advocating. It's usually like you. So you guys have heard about us from someone and, contact us. We don't usually like go out looking for it, but we have little magazine articles all over, especially in California. And I think it's partially because, like you said, California has never been known for its hunting, but there are actually a huge, huge amount of hunters here. So,
okay. Gotcha.
Kind of behind the scenes a lot. We don't really.
Grassroots kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're hoping we can spread the word through our contingent at the Big Buck Podcast, of course. That's why we had you on the show. And so you have this great clothing line. You have an inspiration. You're thinking about it. You're in it. You're designing. You're working every day in it. And then you decide TV show.
Yeah, why not?
Tell me about that. How did that all come about?
Well, Jen's a big Ivan Carter fan, so she had been watching way too many Ivan Carter shows, huh?
Hey, I told her that if we got a hunting show, I would quit my real estate business, and I'm really not kidding. I did.
That was it. That was the key, huh? No kidding. All right.
I love to hunt.
Oh, but some opportunities came up, and we jumped on that opportunity.
No, you got to tell them the story about Crazy Kathy.
Oh, geez.
So
yes, we need to hear about Crazy Kathy.
Yeah, Norissa hates telling stories.
I'm not a really good storyteller. I like to just talk it out. Let's just wing it.
Cappy is our producer. That is his nickname, Emmanuel Cap. And he came to a trade show and he left us a business card. Honestly, I thought he was trying to get us to do more advertising or something to that effect. And I was like, yeah, we don't want to do that right now because, all the dollars we were just putting right back into clothing.
Right.
So he came and actually, I think sent us an email. I was like, hey, I really have an opportunity for you. I want to talk to you. So I grabbed Norissa and I'm at my day job at the real estate office. And so I said, I'll make this phone call. I'll give him a call and talk to him. And came back and I said, okay, this guy wants to take us to Africa. Let's go. I was literally not kidding. And she looked at me like I was crazy. He had offered us an opportunity to hunt in Africa and see if we all meshed. He thought our brand was awesome. He thought that we would be a great fit for a TV show. And we really didn't know what we were jumping into. And Norissa wasn't too keen on jumping on an airplane and flying to Africa because she hates airplanes.
And just meeting a stranger that we've only met over Skype. Scary. That's like something that you'd see on TV.
I carry big knives.
He was, we knew through friends. And so we had did our homework, but so we arrived in Johannesburg and the rest was really...
We hit it off immediately with them. Started planning our business on our long drives in between. And, it's honestly his wife, Chantel, is our production manager. So Norissa and I are the hosts and we help co-produce. And everything is filmed in real time. So you will often see two cameras. You'll see, through the lens of the camera that you're showing, and you'll see Norissa filming or me filming. And part of that is that we don't edit that out, is to show that it is in real time. So we don't reenact anything. And I think that's either because we are not very good actresses or, we're trying to do something where it's just caught in the moment. And Nurse and I are much better at that. So we just try to keep it that way. And that's kind of our feel for our show is this is who we are. I think it's definitely, go ahead.
I think Universal Huntress, what it really started off is kind of like Girls with Guns. It's kind of part of our journey and Jen and I's journey. And, we both hunted, but we never hunted to this extent. And when you do, and when you go to an outfitter or you go to hunt camp or whatever you're doing, you learn so much. And you learn so much out in the field about the animals, your relationships, being out in the woods in a whole nother country is really what Universal Huntress, it's taught Jen and I so much. And I think, us with our nose and our business and just grinding every day, last year, just filming and taking off and traveling all over the world has been really special for us because it's kind of refreshed our souls and just taught us a lot, and being able to give back and bring clothing to children who didn't have any running water or food, and to be able to bring meat that we had just shot a Gems buck in the, early morning and just fed a whole retirement home is stuff that will hold forever. And so Universal Huntress, its whole thing has really been around our journey and our experience and learning. So, and we're growing and evolving and every day. So,
Gotcha. Where are most of your hunts performed? Are you in Africa most of the time?
They were, but it's changing.
Yeah. So this year we're doing more, here in the U.S. But last year we had, just a lot of opportunity to hunt in Africa. So we did that. And I think it was really great for us.
I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
We went from all over South Africa to even to the Congo. So yeah, it was pretty amazing for us.
Definitely on my bucket list. I'll have to give you that.
Yeah, you should do it.
So let's talk about your pro staff there that you work with. So it's you two, and then who else do you have on your staff?
I gotta pull it up to remember everybody. So what we have here is one of the things that we've been doing with our pro staff is slowly but surely growing it. And I'd like to say, even though she's not on the website, our number one pro staffer, who is an honorable member, is Sarah Palin. Have you guys seen her wearing our staff?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at some clips. I don't know if I would have picked it out initially, but now my reticular activator is on high speed alert here. So
yeah. Sarah is great. She is a fan of GWG and
from the beginning.
Yeah,
we had to tell them about the hat. How'd she get it? Oh gosh, never can't remember the story.
My brain's fried.
So Sarah Palin originally came up to Northern California to a logging conference, just 30 minutes from our hometown. And we went to that. So I'm like,
sorry, I had
a brain fart.
A senior moment.
Oh,
Lordy.
So she went and we seriously joked, wouldn't it be cool if she was seen wearing our stuff one day? We got her a package to her.
Yep.
She wore her hat on her show,
Amazing
America.
Yeah.
What's the other one? The Alaska one.
Yeah. Sarah Palin's Alaska.
Oh, wow.
It went viral. I think my arm was so sore.
So it was funny. So long story short, she had wore the hat on her TV show. That night, we got our emails, our orders to our phone. And it was blowing up our phone so bad that we got 300 internet orders in the first hour.
Wow.
It shut down our website, crashed it, and everybody wanted the hat right before.
Which we had just discontinued and had no more of. We had just gone to factories instead of hand pressing.
So we were up all night embroidering and hand pressing, and our friends were trimming hats and putting our custom hang tags that we had our local copy center print for us, and it was just amazing.
I think my arm was almost broke off because the machine that you have to push it down, and I did all of our hand pressing, and we actually had to end up taking the hats to be embroidered because there were so many we couldn't wait on our one head embroidery machine, and then they would bring them in, and I mean it was all I could do. We had one hat press. And I remember waking up one morning and I'm like, it feels like somebody beat me up. My whole arm was sore because I would just sit there and hand press. And then the girls would run around, fill orders. And it was probably some of the best media ever. And then we had the opportunity to clothe her for her new show. And we flew to Arizona and we got to meet her and hang out with her and Todd and work with them for 8 hours that day, and it was amazing. She's an awesome person.
Well, that's a pretty good person to have on your pro staff then. That's excellent. Well done.
Well, I think she's on our pro staff. She's our honorary.
I know. Well, you still have to say that, though. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but we have some really great brand ambassadors. We are pretty selective on who we choose, that represents the brand and helps promote the brand. And on our team page, you can go and read all the girls' stories and follow them on on their own Facebook pages, and just really support them.
Yep.
And we have outfitters. We have editors. We have girls who just love the outdoors. We have rodeo girls. We have girls that are into, what is that crowd? Motocross. We have professional wakeboarders, 2 sisters that are actually from about 45 minutes from here that Norissa and I have had the opportunity to wakeboard with before. And so GWG's brand is universal. And, we aren't just hunters. We aren't just shooters. We are everything. And we have girls contacting us because, when you say girls with guns, they think big muscles. And so, we have girls that compete in bodybuilding in Alaska that we had on our team. And, we obviously have people that we bring in and that we will, support. But it's just one of those amazing things because we try to make sure that our brand is out there for everyone and we don't discriminate.
Right on. Excellent. I have the prerequisite for being on the show is that you have to tell a deer hunting story. And I'd like to have you walk through your 2 best, most memorable deer hunts with Dusty, if you could. And where are we going to go?
You want to start with yours?
So I'll tell you the story of my very first deer hunt. So this is Jen. I'm the storyteller.
Jen,
Can
all
you
right.
tell?
Dusty, you want to take it?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us, okay, what year are we going back to, Jen?
Oh my gosh. Ooh. 8 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It must have been 8 years ago. So I'd shot coyotes and I'd shot birds and had just never had the opportunity. I don't know if you guys know how much that California is one of the hardest states to hunt in. We don't have a ton of public land. We really lack in mature deer. And, it's definitely, there is no baiting. There is, so much that we don't have the opportunity to do here that they do in other states. And so I didn't really have that opportunity. And Norissa's husband, that guy, he is a hunter. And I remember that, I'd gone out on public land and I'd tried and, I'd gone with the guy I was dating and it never worked out. I saw tons of does, never saw a buck. It was just one of those things. He gave me an opportunity and we were on private land. And he said, Jen, for your birthday this year, I'm taking you hunting. It was the best birthday present I ever got up to that point. I was so excited. I couldn't even tell you. And so, honestly, it was like a whole new thing. So I'd gone from just, doing a little bit of hunting. My dad hunted with him my whole life to big time because Brian is big time and he does everything. He has every piece of equipment you need. There's stuff I didn't even know. I was like, what is this for? What's a spotting scope? I'm like, I grew up and we weren't as involved in it as that. Brian watches deer and I've evolved into that type of hunter now, mostly because of him and because of hunting. And, as you feel your passion for it. Well, we went out, it was probably like 5 a.m. It was October. It was about 105 out. I'll never forget.
Wow.
And we hunted all day long. I had never seen so many bucks in one spot in my life. I was like, I didn't understand at the time because, the way I grew up is, if you saw something with horns that you shot it. And what Brian was teaching me was about conservation. And a lot of people may refer to it as trophy hunting. To me, it's conservation. And he told me, he said, Jen, you can't shoot that buck because it's too young. It's only 3 years old. You need to let him grow up. And we need to find you an older, mature buck. And I will tell you that conservation, I saw the same type of conservation in Africa, in New Zealand, and in every single country that I have hunted in. And it's so awesome. As we went out there, we had hunted all day, and if I remember my story right, we roughly saw 8 bucks at that point. And Brian said, "Nope, it's opening day. That's insane." So I'm pretty excited, but I was a little disappointed. I didn't really understand all of it until I would say a few years later. And Brian, he goes, "Let's just go glass this one last ridge." So we're all sitting out there glassing, just enjoying the day. Norissa's with me. It was one of the most amazing days that I will never forget. And I swear this man has eagle eyes. He could spot anything. So he spotted 2 bucks laid up under an oak tree. And the closest from where we were across the draw, it was about 350 yards. And because, I was still new to this, I mean, I was already shaken and excited, adrenaline pumping. He's like, okay, so we're not going to do that.
Right.
You're not ready for that yet, which, that's a good call on an experienced hunter's part. Let's take you around. He goes, we're going to go and we're going to stalk in. We're really worried about blowing this doe out and her spooking him. But if we can get in right, then, we should be okay. So we crept in, belly crawled, hands and knees, all the way up. We got to the top of this knoll to where we could just barely peer over to look down. And I can't remember if the wind changed or what happened, but both of the bucks stood up, and I had just gotten down and gotten ready. And he just said, the one on the right, take it now. And I remember his excitement, and he was breathing as hard as I was and as nervous as I was. And I mean, I was only 65 yards from him, took a frontal shot, dropped him. It was the most amazing, exhilarating, awesome thing. And I just remember getting up, and I was so excited, and I kind of just started to run down there, and Brian grabbed my arm, and he stopped me, and he goes, you need to wait. I guess we need to let him pass. And so we gave him a minute, and then I went through the entire process from stringing him up, gutting him, skinning him, did absolutely everything with him and NORISSA. And it was one of the coolest moments. And I think it really defined my hunting career. I still feel that way about every animal. I still go out with my PHs and my guides, and I'll skin out my animals. And I sometimes I let them gut them. I'm not going to lie. That's not always my favorite, but it's, just a piece of conservation and respect for the animals. And it's had a huge impact on my life because hunting means so much to me, and I absolutely love it.
I think for me, seeing that happen, with you, and, it was, you always have one person teach you and show you, hunting. And, you have done that so much for so many kids. And so you've kind of given that, you've passed that torch on to a lot of your nieces and friends, and taken the time to really show them and educate them. And you're a lot better than that than I am. But
it's true. I think it's because it was so important in my life, and it changed my life forever. And, we get so much anti-hate and so many people who are against hunting, and they don't understand these kids today that I have nothing else in common with, but they think it's really cool because Auntie Jen gets to travel all over the world and hunt. They want to learn. They want to learn.
They want to know. Mm-hmm. They want to, I mean, this year Jen took out her niece and killed her first turkey, and we got home and made enchiladas, and you made her skin it. And so it's just to be able to give back has been pretty cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more, And it's a great point that you brought up there. And I'm going to kind of replay back into your story a little bit about the conservation. That's something that grows with time. It's like planting a seed and watching it develop, and it's a perennial. It keeps on coming back. And as the years pass by, the conservation naturally embeds into your mind, into your thoughts, and it makes for healthier herds in everywhere you go.
Yeah, and it's huge because honestly, even though I didn't understand it all those years ago, I remember the first time I was in Africa, and we became very, very good friends with one of the PHs over there. And on the very last night, we went over to a blue wildebeest, and his horns were huge. He was massive. And NORISSA was up, and he just said, oh, and I was looking at him too, and I knew he was a big one. And he said, you know what? We're not going to take him. He's going to be, in a couple years, he's going to be a big, mature bull. He is going to, he's not past his breeding age. And it's just one of those things that's been ingrained forever because of my first hunt, and because of having role models like Brian in my life who have really just ingrained that. And it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that everybody should pass along. It often mistakenly is claimed as trophy hunting. Is that something that you guys see quite often also?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's...
especially hunting in Africa. And the thing is, nothing goes to waste in Africa. And we only shoot older, mature animals because obviously those outfitters don't want you shooting their, upcoming game that's going to continue breeding. And, people don't understand the whole process unless they've been there. And it's really sad that we get the hate. I mean, and you know what? The antis are never going to change.
Yeah, and it's just not us. I mean, it's just all of us. It's just we're singled out, you know. So it's just what they don't know and they don't understand. So
right, absolutely. It's something that if it's not something that you grew up around or that you participate in, it's very difficult to understand. And it's one of the things where you try to educate as much as you can. And you guys sound like you're doing that. You're spreading the education about the conservation and the healthy herd development. And that's something that's super important to these younger generations coming up.
We hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope so, because, you know, we kind of all have to stick together. We're, you know, the hunting community is, you know, we're all family, and it really disappoints me when I see other hunters not supporting, or, you know, we're all one. We all have the same passion and the same drive, and so we all need to really stand for each other and not against each other. And, you know, we're getting attacked, and our families are getting attacked, and so it's just a time now where we just need to try to start with our youth, and Jen's been doing a great job with that. And, you know, to see it happening all over with other, even TV personators. I mean, Jana Waller, she's awesome. And just to see, you know, them, you know, give back and to help the community is awesome. And that's what we have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And very fortunate, Jay and myself have been able to speak with Jana Waller, you know, Skullbound. She was on the program here.
That's cool.
Tell us a little bit about what kind of hunting attire was you wearing 8 years ago?
I could tell you this one. I definitely could tell you this one. I'll have to give you guys a throwback picture, but I shot a hog with my husband, and I was dating him at the time. I think I was 18 years old. And I had my hair slicked back. I had some Vans on. I had some baggy jeans and a black T-shirt. And then, you know, as we started going out more, I was like, hey, I need some gear. And I started using his hand-me-down. So
I can't fit in men's stuff because I'm 5 feet tall. So I went to the little boys section. And I mean, it was, I just gave it away to a little girl who needed some hunting stuff because I kept it forever. I keep all my camo.
Because you're a clothes hoarder.
But oh my gosh. I mean, to have to wear little boy stuff or baggy jeans and Vans.
It's just so funny. Like, I looked at that picture, and it sits in my office, and I look up at it, and I'm like, whoa, who is that? But, you know, trends were different, and there wasn't really much to offer us. So
yeah, absolutely. What kind of? I'm assuming it's a rifle. Was you rifle hunting when you shot that particular deer?
I was. It was 243.
243. Okay. Any particular brand?
I haven't shot that gun in so long. I'm gonna have to think.
We've gone through a few.
Savage. It was a Savage.
No kidding.
We now shoot Remington proudly. Remington's our sponsor for the TV show.
Very cool.
Remington. Woo!
What kind of preparation did you put in prior days before that hunt? And tell us a little bit, because California is something that's kind of new territory for us.
How about I tell you about what I would do now? I was so new to it, and I didn't really know. Brian actually taught me. That was part of the teaching. And you know, now some of the things definitely, like right now,
we're
getting
going
ready for a hunt
this weekend.
Yeah, it's archery season, and we're getting ready to start. We have been up. This will be our third time up scouting. We have trail cams up there. We have 6 trail cams out in some different areas. We're going back to my hometown area, and Norissa and I are new to archery, so this is really exciting. And definitely, obviously, your trail cams.
Just getting all our gear together, all of our clothing, and, you know, making sure that, you know, our Girls with Guns clothing, all of our trail cams, our radios. It's
big buck knives.
Nice. Right. What kind of trail cameras are you guys using?
Bushnell.
Bushnell. Gotcha. Okay. What would the Jen of today tell the Jen 15 years ago?
Oh, so 15 years ago, I was 20 years old. Okay. and I definitely, excuse me, I definitely had no idea what my life would turn out like. I certainly didn't think it would be this awesome because I love what we do and where we are. But I would definitely just tell myself to keep my head down and continue to work hard, and the sky is the limit. Because where I came from, in a small town of 400 people, you never think growing up there with 15 people in your graduating class that you can actually do something and make a difference and be on TV, for goodness sakes. I mean, that's just weird. I definitely think that's been a huge part of where we are today for me, is where I came from, and never forgetting that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great,
like
yeah.
that.
That just gave me a tear.
Oh gosh, Nurse is gonna cry.
NORISSA.
She cries a lot.
I'm the crybaby. I'm the crybaby non-storytelling.
She's our comedian too.
I'm a thug. I'm the thug. I'm a rap for you though.
That's a thug baby.
I'm a thug baby. Let's see about where I would be. Okay. 15 years ago, I was 21. Woo!
Wow.
I was a little baby. But
wait, aren't you 37? You were 22. I'm sorry.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Hey,
In the ballpark.
you threw me. I'm like sweating now and red. And you threw me out of the freaking bus on a podcast. Now I'm going to cry. For me, I was always dreaming, and there was always something bigger, and I always knew there was something bigger. So I would just tell me just to keep searching and to not to give up on your dreams.
That's a good one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Are you readers? Are you both readers?
No.
No.
Not very
I don't really
much.
have time. I don't really have time. I started
magazines.
I did start a book. What was that? The anti-poaching, the anti-rhino poaching, and I started it because Ivan Carter kept posting about it on his Facebook. So I started it when we were in the Congo, and I actually need to finish it, but it was such a good book, and there's so much about that world. So it was interesting to me because at the time, we just had some friends that, own a game preserve in South Africa, and they were dealing with the rhino poaching and had actually, a mom and a baby just poached. And, so they had spent tons of time and money and effort. So I was interested in that. So I started that book, actually.
How many magazines do you read?
Mostly just Universal Hunter magazine, which is one of the ones that I write for. It's our producer's magazine.
Okay.
And every time it comes out, we're usually in there with our articles, but I love to read the other ones, talk with some of the other writers. And, it's just, that's one of the things I love to read about hunting stories. But with today's technology and Facebook and Twitter, I get so much interaction with hunters and hearing their stories and stuff, or blogs, that I don't really do a ton of reading of hunting books at all right now. I'm horrible. I just really don't.
And now I have a new podcast that I get to follow, so I'm super excited about.
Yeah, we do podcasts.
That's true. I mean, we all consume this stuff differently. And sometimes it's reading, sometimes it's a magazine or a book. And I got to be honest, the way I consume a lot of my stuff is by listening. And it's whether it's an audiobook or podcasting, quite frankly. And although I'm doing it, I also listen to it. So I get that, that we each have our certain number of hours in our day and we have to fit it in. We still want to obtain knowledge, and sometimes we just got to listen to what's being said as opposed to sitting down and casually reading for a while. I don't have time for that.
I love to read. It's just that time crunch when you're a business owner. So I try to follow on my social media and my blogs and podcast stuff, every hunter, people who are reputable. And that's where I get a lot of my stories and stuff.
Yep. Totally understand. I feel exactly what you're saying. So, okay. So let's say never mind the firearm, but you go into the woods, you go into your tree stand or your blind, and you have your firearm with you, and you forget one item, and you start sweating because you forgot it. What's that one item?
Toilet paper.
Kershaw.
All right.
Kershaw knife. That's only Nur. Mine is hands down my knife. It goes everywhere with me every day. I have a couple different ones because they're sponsors of ours, and that is mine.
Okay. So you've been hunting for a while. You understand different aspects of hunting, how to hunt different games and different continents. From all that you've learned so far, what is your number one hunting tip?
I would say for me, it's just knowing your equipment, having good quality equipment and that you have knowledge of is the best way to ensure a successful hunt. I rely on, we're very blessed to have good sponsors. So we have great optics. I've missed a buck before by not having good optics. And, I think that's hugely important. And we are lucky enough to use Swarovski, spotting scope, binos, and scopes. So that's definitely number one, I would say, is good equipment.
Okay. Let's talk about TV show. Where can we find the TV show if I want to tune in? Where can I find your social media stuff? Where can I watch the television show?
Cool. So you can go to the Sportsman's channel, and it airs Monday nights at 8 p.m.
And for the clothing line, we're in fine retailers such as Cabela's, Sportsman's Warehouse, Shields, or online at gwgclothing.com.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a lot of places and some big names. You've done so well for yourself in such a short amount of time. Where do you take this? What's the goal?
Well,
the goal to take over the world. That's always my joke. I tell my staff that all the time.
Right.
I think that using the TV show to market Girls with Guns and get us out there to people who don't know about our brand, the women who want to wear our fashion or they want to wear our hunting line, and letting people know that we are not just inclusive of hunters. We are your everyday outdoor lifestyle apparel and, just bringing it to the next level. And NORISSA and I are really excited about that and just continuing to build the brand. And next year, since we have a soft launch in South Africa this year, we're going to be traveling to South Africa and to their Hunt Expo. And we've already got a small pro staff going there, and they're going to start learning and building the brand in another country.
That's very cool. That's excellent. Jen NORISSA, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the Big Buck Podcast. It's been a pleasure. I love the story. I love what you're doing. I love your energy and the passion and just the whole mission that you've developed over the couple of years, and that it's like there's no limit to what you can do. I think it's just a great story for outdoorsmen and outdoors women and just entrepreneurs in general. Love what you're doing.
Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate the opportunity to tell our story and, to tell your viewers and, introduce them to who we are and our brand and, just to be able to be on your show has been pretty fun. So we're super excited. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
My pleasure. And Dusty, thank you for joining us, of course. And for me and Dusty, we'd love to have you back again sometime.
I'm going to take you up on that. You know that.
Give us a holler if you ever need anything entertaining.
I'm down with that. Excellent. Well, thank you to the girls from Girls with Guns, Jen O'Hara and NORISSA HARMAN. Can't thank you enough for being on the show and telling us that. It's a great story. I love, once again, it's just, we always have people that have energy. And I guess you need that if you're going to be in business, technically.
Oh, yeah. You can just tell the drive that they have to push their products.
Yeah. It's like, there's nothing that's going to stop them. They may not be, maybe they didn't go to business school or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that they're going to make it happen, and they're determined. And that's the common denominator here. You
can hear it in their tone of voice that they're bound and determined to make everything happen and fill orders and and become a legit solid brand.
It's awesome, man. Just
very
awesome.
Cool.
So,
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the Big Buck Podcast. So, Dusty, do we have a Chubby Tines tip of the week this week?
We do have a Chubby Tines tip of the week this week.
What do we got?
If you got out some alfalfa and some hay products, it's time to get them mowed. Get your clover mowed down and get them food plots freshened up.
It is that time of the year. It's coming right up. So, awesome, man. Good tip. And, Dusty, where can we find you when you're not hanging out here on the mic with me?
Facebook.com/Chubby Tines Outdoors, Facebook.com/Chubby Gobbler. You can also hit me up on Instagram @Chasing Antler. Jay, where can the people reach out to you when you're not on the mic?
You can start with an email if you like, jay@bigbuckregistry.com. Dusty, you also have an email over here at dusty@bigbuckregistry.com. You can always check us out on our social media pages at Facebook, facebook.com/Big Buck Registry, twitter.com/Big Buck Registry. We are on Instagram, Big Buck Registry, on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Big Buck Registry. If you are an iTunes user and you use the podcast app, I would love, please do a search for the Big Buck Registry and leave us a review. If you love this show, give us a 5-star review. And you can always give us a call at 724-613-2825. And don't forget about the buck naming special we're doing right now for $59.99. Dusty will name your buck. And finally, if you have a buck to submit and you want to be famous for a day, go to bigbuckregistry.com/mybuck, and all the instructions will be there for you, so you can show the world off, or show the world your buck, and become at least famous for one day in the world of big buck hunting. Well, Dusty, I think that's a wrap, brother.
Big buck everywhere. Big buck. Yeah, awesome. Heck yeah. I'm Dusty Phillips.
And I'm Jay Scott. And this is the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Deer Hunting Podcast.
We'll see you next week.
Can't wait.